But as far as the actual music performance itself went, you know, man, really lame, really lame. Coldplay's song selection from their catalog was absolutely terrible. They had not way more, but they had way better, more appropriate songs for such an event that they didn't use. I mean, why would you open with a slow song from 15 years ago? Are you freaking kidding me? That's just dumb, okay? You start with something upbeat, you have a mellow thing somewhere in the middle, and then you close with something upbeat, or you go upbeat pretty much the whole time, and then, you know, close it with the big slow ballady, you know, type of thing. Not Coldplay. Slow, fast, slow. Just, that's about it. And then, you know, special guest in the middle. That's basically what we got. And it was pretty much all, I don't think any of it was actual live performance. It was all, you know, as polished and perfect sounding and pre-recorded sounding as you could possibly do, other than a moment or two, I want to say, when Beyonce came out and was singing. She almost freaking biffed it in one spot. I was actually impressed. It was funny because it's funny anytime anybody falls or almost falls. Like, I love Beyonce. Like, I totally respect and dig Beyonce. And Bruno Mars, for the record. Coldplay, you know, I'm not huge on them. I don't mind them. They're okay. I can stand, you know, some of their stuff, but yeah, for the most part, they're not. I'm not big on Coldplay. But it just overall, other than the some of the visual presentation of it, like at the end when they had the whole crowd, you know, hold up a colored sign that had a message and a picture on it or whatever, like, you know, that's really cool. Don't get me wrong, that's super cool. But outside of that, the whole halftime performance was just, there was not a whole lot of entertainment value to it really at all. It was very overproduced and not live entertainment, not what that type of performance is supposed, an experience is supposed to be like, in my opinion. And I can't stress enough how much it didn't really have anything to do with the specific performers that were chosen. I think super highly of Bruno Mars and Beyonce. And Coldplay's alright. Like I said, they're just not my cup of tea. But if you didn't like the halftime show, I mean, have no fear. You've got an entire game's worth of fantastically hilarious and memorable and awesome and shocking Super Bowl commercials, right? Right? Yeah, well, yeah, not so much. At least not so much this year. That's how it felt to me. Now, don't get me wrong. There were some pretty good to really good commercials that we got to see. Now, for the record, my personal favorite of the commercials, by far, like it wasn't even close, like this one I remember vividly, and I loved it, was the Scott Baio commercial towards the beginning of the commercial, or Super Bowl, excuse me, that at the end revealed that it was a promotion for avocados from Mexico. So, there you go. Avocados from Mexico. A little flat on that one part, but whatever. I'm trying to keep it down and not be too loud so I don't wake up mom and dad in the next room. I've had a sore throat for like a month, and this room is not conducive to the type of environment that I need to do what you're asking of me, okay? but yeah, overall, I felt that the commercials in general were a letdown from what we're used to, and from what I saw and heard, it seems like the majority of people shared that same opinion. If you have a different favorite Super Bowl commercial that you just absolutely loved or absolutely hated, like what your least favorite stood out to you one was too, I would love to hear that from you. So please tweet it to me at BDST Show, or, you know, post a message on my wall, or however the heck Facebook works. Search Scotty-Ball on Facebook. Now, personally, I don't know if it was my absolute least favorite, but one of my least favorites, or at least just weird was the first of the Jeff Goldblum Moving On Up commercials, the big 30 to 60 second one that aired first. Man, I still don't know what to think about that commercial. It kind of I kind of have nightmares from it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was a little too much information. But anyway, yeah, so closing out Super Bowl 50, I think all we really have left to talk about is Cam's post-game conference, and then we'll wrap up with a little bit of other football talk and move to other topics here in our second hour of this likely 2-hour episode. Alright, so let's not give the MVP air quotation marks, because the people who vote, there's more stupid people who vote for that award apparently than smart people. So again, Roger Goodell, expect my invitation either next year or the following season, no later than that. I want to be voting for this stuff. But I think this Super Bowl was great for all of us in just being reminded and, reaffirming who Cam Newton is, all the things that go into making Cam Newton who he is, which according to him is who he's always going to be. He is never going to change anything about who he is or the way he is, ever. And apparently that's somehow in his mind that is a good thing, that is a good attitude, that's a positive. In my mind, in the mind of any, well-rounded, intelligent human being, that is a mindset of failure and death. Not necessarily physical, but I use that word because that mindset, that attitude, that approach to life completely cuts off and prevents and stops any sort of growth, personal growth. You hear his coach saying after the game about how, all the way Cam's responded to things and stuff, and that how it just shows that, he's got maturing and, growing to do as a person, and he's only, this years old and blah, blah, blah. He's only 26 or whatever, and he's a young man who's, still maturing and blah, blah, blah. No, he's not. He repeatedly, emphatically tells everybody, I'm not growing, I'm not maturing, I am the way I am, and that is just how I'm always going to insist on being. And then has the gall, the Mickey gall. He's got the gall then to follow that up with, who's to say your way is right? Why should I change for you? Who's to say your way is right? I stay true to myself. Who's to say your way is right? Does Cam Newton even listen to himself when he talks? Cam, listen to those words. And then think about how you go about your understanding of self. You have already deemed that your way is right and have completely written off modifying it, having it grow, having it change, having it evolve, having it improve. You're completely closed off to that. You reject it, you refuse it, you push it away. And you do it with pride. You take pride in doing this. You think it's something to be proud of. Something that makes you admirable. It does just the opposite, Cam. You are one of the biggest moron athletes from just a getting it standpoint that I've ever seen. He is the definition of a front runner. He's just this spoiled brat front runner. He's a spoiled brat. He's never had any real struggles in his life, very little in his career, And whenever things are going good, it's, hey, everybody, look at me, celebrate me, worship me, I'm great, I did all this, yay, freaking me. But then anytime something just doesn't go quite right, anytime it doesn't work out, and he said this following his post-game meltdown, where after the Super Bowl, he only commented for 2 to 3 minutes after the game, and it was all very short answers with the exception of one response that was actually a very good, accurate response, and I appreciated it very much. But his demeanor, and then walking off and just leaving, I'm done, like I said, not even 3 minutes into it, and then defending that the next day or the next couple of days, saying, yeah, I'm a sore loser, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. That's a quote from Cam Newton 2 days following the Super Bowl. Show me, yes, I'm a sore loser, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. So somehow, by being a sore loser in the mind of Cam Newton, that makes you less of a loser than a good loser, or just a loser in general. And vice versa. If you are a good loser, it doesn't in any way make you better than if you are a sore loser or just a loser. Who raised this guy and who coached this guy, more importantly? Who coached this guy throughout his childhood, adolescent years, high school years? Who coached this kid all those years and throughout high school, through college, and allowed this guy to have this kind of mindset, this kind of thinking? That is the type of thing that you instill in your players more than anything. You hammer into them more than anything, more than the playbook, more than technique, more than anything. You hammer into them ethics, values, things that they can take and apply in other areas of their life that will make them successful, better human beings. Okay. Here's what Cam Newton would be if Cam Newton was a normal person, okay? If you put Cam Newton's personality and who he is as a person inside a normal body, not inside a body that's freaking 6'5", 240 pounds and athletic as all hell, okay? Put who he is as a person inside a normal human being's body. You know who he is then? He's the freaking 26-year-old, because he's 26 right now. He's the 26-year-old that is living with his mom, but he's not really living with his mom. You know what I'm saying? And he's got a job interview like once a month or whatever, and it's always going to work out. He talks a big game. Oh, no, it's this big opportunity. I'm going to be this big shot, and da-da-da. And every time he goes to the interview, he struts in like his you-know-what don't stink, and he's sitting there, and they're asking him questions, and it's all, what makes you qualified to do this, and, what are your strengths, da-da-da. He's all I don't really do, this, and I don't really do this, even though that's what you say, that's what you're looking for. But I'm really awesome, and y'all should just take my word for it. Like, I'm really super great. Here's one thing, here's something I can do. I do this, check this out, and, I'm going to need 8 weeks paid vacation, and I'm going to need an office with a window, and I'm going to need a nameplate on my door, and, and then, surprisingly, well, thank you, Mr. Newton. We'll be in touch with you. Please don't contact us. We'll contact you, and just, this is his life, that is who Cam Newton would be, okay? That's Cam Newton's personality. But because he has been blessed with this amazing gift of athleticism and size and speed and strength and all that, and he's always had it. Don't get me wrong, he has worked a lot to maximize it, but he didn't have to work to get it. You don't work to get 6'5". It just happens. Or it doesn't, in most people's case. You can work to shave, a couple tenths of a